Here we are at Conscious Conversation number 6, and I am so delighted to have with me today Anita Kress from the Foundation of Power. That's the name of her company. Anita, I am so happy and grateful to have you with me today because you are actually not only just a healer to me, but you're actually more like a mentor because I've learned so much from you over the years. And you're actually the person where our topic today is going to be inspiration versus motivation. And you're actually the person that I got that from. And I talk about it all the time with
Oh,
everyone.
yay.
Yeah. And it's such a gift that you gave me when you were just demonstrating to me just about how life is with inspiration versus motivation. But before we get started, I'm going to actually start with an angel prayer
Okay, great.
to set the space.
I'm so happy to be here with you, Maddie.
Oh, I feel the same. So thank you. This is an angel prayer for an inspired life. Dear angels, light my world with wondrous inspiration in every part of my life. Feed my soul with the blessing of an inquiring mind, a generous heart, and an inspired life. Show me how to use those gifts to make this world a place of peace and harmony. Guide me to share my creativity with others who, like me, desire to change the world where it's dark and cruel, bringing light and grace to all who need it. Guide me to use words that will change lives, to perform deeds that comfort the lost, to share love with those who have none. Make me an instrument of change for those who fear they will never be inspired. Share with me the courage to allow an abundance of inspiration into my life and to recognize it in all its glorious aspects. Amen, amen, amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. That's beautiful. I love it.
I didn't write it. It's from the book 365 Days of Angel Prayer. I use it all the time.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I love everything about it.
Oh, me too. So you're in Oregon right now, right?
Yes, I'm about an hour outside of Portland, Oregon, and I live in actually the old growth forest.
Oh, I mean, everything about you is so magical. It's amazing. You look like a fairy princess and you live in a forest. I love that.
I mean, I worked hard to get to a good life. I really did. So, yeah.
And that's why you're
start out like that.
Right. They didn't start out like that. Right. Do you want to talk about how they started out or not really?
Well, I mean, I can briefly say that I had pretty severe childhood abuse from the age of 3 to 6. And it really had a huge impact on my life, but I didn't really know, like I didn't remember it. So right away. And those memories came back much later when I was doing the inner work. But I grew up wondering what was wrong with me. You know, why was I so scared, and why did I have such little confidence, and why did I go from being, comfortable in one moment to being completely a mess in the next? And really that's what led me to do this work. All my life, I've been trying to find those answers, and I continued to grow. And eventually I figured it out. I figured out the key. And so that's what I do in my coaching work for over 23 years now, I guess.
It's amazing. And the thing I love about working with you is that because you are so in tune and so about energy, it's the way you help people, the way you helped me articulate exactly what it was, like pinpointed exactly what it was that was bothering me or that was coming up from my past, and then able to put words to that and help me formulate kind of like would you call it a sentence or what do you call it? The paragraph that you put together, the process, I guess.
You mean the one for, like, if you have an issue, or the one for when you're creating your, dream?
I mean more when you have an issue is the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, so just mainly naming the issue, the stress response or the trauma
Right.
or the
Yes.
contract or whatever it is,
Yes.
the emotional pattern, any of those things that are really holding you back, that are
Right.
getting triggered up from the past. Yeah.
Right. I guess that's what I meant. It's like the little paragraph that you give to someone to say, well, that's how you were working with me.
Oh, you're talking about maybe the stress release statement?
Yes. I mean, I have a wee book here full of all these like different things that when we talked about certain issues, because yeah, look, this is how complicated I am and how much healing I needed.
Well, what I want to say is that's how committed you were,
Oh,
because you were so committed to, and it makes me want to cry,
hmm.
to being the best person you could be.
Yeah. And
And
mhm.
and so you were so committed that you would do the work so diligently. You wanted it so badly, and you've been doing it.
Thank
So
you. Thank
yeah.
you so much. It's amazing how we've never met in person, but
That's true.
I feel like I've known you my whole life and I feel like we are so close.
Mm.
And I just can't wait for the day that I can actually give you a proper hug in person.
I know. When is that day coming?
I don't know, but isn't that
Not during
amazing?
coronavirus,
I,
but
I know.
sooner than later, I hope.
Yeah. Me too. I was thinking I could so easily get in my car and come and join you, but I still don't feel comfortable hugging everyone yet. So,
I know.
but yeah, yeah, there's just certain people that when you meet, you have a certain connection and there's no effort. There's no effort. You just vibe with that person and you get on well with them and everything they say, you're like, yes. It's like a yes and conversation rather than no but, you
Oh
know?
yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to talk to you. We'll come back to talking about more about your work,
Hmm.
because I actually want to read out one of the um, I think it was a emotional response or a automatic stress response that you gave me to that I said out loud to release it. So I'll give an example of that later. But I really wanted to talk about inspiration versus motivation
Oh
because
yes.
you've said to me a number of times that, and you've told me, given me examples from your life about how it's affected you. And when I really understood that when I'm so in alignment with what my true nature wants, with what my heart really desires, everything just falls into place effortlessly, and I don't have to work hard at it or force myself or will myself to do anything. And when I'm writing, it just flows through me effortlessly when I'm inspired, versus if I'm having to motivate myself and I know I need to get this done, I need to get this done tomorrow, or I need to get this done by 5 o'clock. And yes, while there are goals in life, we do have deadlines. The
Yes.
process from which you get there, you actually really gave me the way to give myself permission to do nothing if I felt like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to ask you about what's been some of the experiences you've had with examples of inspiration versus motivation.
Let me see. Some of the examples would be finding this home that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
We I just moved here to Portland, and we had a change I live with my sister, and we had a change that forced us to find a different place to live. And we, in our minds, determined that we were going to get a certain kind of place. And we were fixed on that. And we were driving toward it. And we couldn't find it.
What kind of place did you have in your mind that you were fixed on?
We were fixed on this a place where we could have horses, where we could do retreats, because I've always been working with people, and that's what I wanted to do, was do retreats. And it was going to be a bigger place, and we were going to be able to have 10 or 20 people come at a time, and they could actually do retreats with horses. And so it was this big vision, and it was very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But what I find is, not only do I have to be acting from inspiration, but the universe has to be lining things up for me in the right timing. And that would not have been the right decision. So anyway, we had been stressing, driving everywhere, finding everything. And one day we just stopped and we pulled over and we went to this old growth forest, and we just relaxed. And we kept doing that. And then we kept doing our stress release. We decided not to worry. And we started relaxing. And while we were relaxing at this place called Eagle Fern Park,
Uh-huh.
I said, can't we just live in the forest somewhere? And my sister said, oh, nah, there's nothing like that available. And the next thing you know, within 2 or 3 days, the woman who was helping us, the real estate agent who was helping us find the bigger place, said, well, I know this little place you could stay in the interim. And she drove us right past Eagle Fern Park,
Uh-huh.
up the hill, and took us right into this, down this, road, and then down a little driveway. And now we live in this 11 acres of old growth forest in a little cabin. Well, a 3-bedroom cabin and a 2-car garage.
Oh my
So
God, that sounds
perfect place.
incredible.
It's incredible.
That is incredible. I totally hear what you're saying. When you take yourself, your will out of the picture, and you have more trust and more faith in divine timing and the
Yes.
universe having your back on all the decisions that sometimes are better for us than we think are better for ourselves,
Yes.
and just kind of melting into that vibration. And just for me, it is really about trusting, because I definitely for many years would be like I was very ambitious when I was in my 20s, and I just remember like making things happen. If I don't make it happen, if I don't force it, then it's never going to happen. And just
You
the way
still
that,
had a little bit of that when we started
yeah,
working
but the
together.
way that I live my life now, I mean, it is really like, especially with the coronavirus and not working for anyone else now, it's actually, the universe has actually put me in the place that I've been dreaming of being without even trying to do it.
Exactly. Yes.
And
I'm
then
so
with
glad
the
for you.
relaxation piece that you're talking about, it's like when you can quiet yourself and do the meditation or just do deep breathing, and not trying to force your mind to come up with ideas and solutions, that's when they start trickling in, and you just suddenly might be doing the dishes one day and you're like, oh my gosh, I've just had this amazing idea. you know I mean, it's so interesting because that's how the oracle card readings that I've been doing,
Yes.
it was never a plan to do that. It was never a plan to be sharing it with the world. I was just always doing it for myself or for my friends.
Uh-huh.
But then over the period of time, and I was sitting and I was meditating and I wasn't working, and I was just kind of, I just thought, what if I just put it out there? Like, what if I just put it out there on Facebook and say that I'm offering this? And I remember the first, when I was just about to press post, I was like, oh my goodness, am I even doing the right thing? And what if I can't do it? And this voice was like, you can do this. You've got this.
Mm.
This is for you. So, and the rest is history. I've just been doing it. And every time I talk to the angels first, and I'm asking them
Mm.
questions, and I hear them saying, just go with it. And we'll give you the information that you
Yeah.
need to pass on.
Yeah.
So
Oh, beautiful. Yes.
yeah.
We had to follow our inspiration. We constantly pull ourselves back from determining what we think we should be doing or letting the world determine for us, and
Right.
just use that inspiration instead. I live my whole life that way now.
Like, there's not many people that live their whole life that way.
Yeah, well, it's so intricately tied with stress release that I just need to say that.
Hmm.
Um, Basically, we are open to inspiration when we're not triggered into a stress response.
Hmm.
And so a lot of us have had a lot of negative experiences in the past, whether it's trauma, complex trauma, or whether it's just negative experiences, and we have stress responses that get triggered up from it. Whenever we're triggered into a stress response, we really go out of our prefrontal cortex. We don't have the ability to be connected to our self-image. We lose perspective of the other person. We don't see things the same way. And we are basically focused on trying to survive.
Mm.
And that brings us down to the immediate moment of surviving this threat that we perceive, whether it's real or, perceived,
Hmm.
that when we see this threat, we start to act to try to mitigate it. And in that arena, which you just mentioned could be something like, oh, I better get this work done. Oh, I need to get going on my goals. Those are all statements that would come out of a stress response state.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do is I work with people, I teach them how to do stress release, and so that they can keep releasing these stress responses so that they can get back into their prefrontal cortex, into their balanced self, and into their executive functioning mode. And now they can be open and available to inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
After they've done that and they're aligned with themselves, they're able to connect with their source, to the angels, to their own higher self, or to a higher power,
Mm-hmm.
and they can receive or inspire information. They can access their own wisdom
Mm-hmm.
and their own knowing, and then there's no barrier. They can just feel it and have move through inspired action. And
Mm.
that's what I believe in, inspired action.
Mm.
So whenever whenever I find myself stressing on something, trying to make something happen, I
Mm-hmm.
just stop and do stress release so that I can get back in line with myself and I can see the steps to take.
So, before we talk a bit more about the Foundation of Power, I love that name of your business, the Foundation of Power. Isn't that amazing? What an amazing name. Um,
Thank you.
would you mind if I give the listeners a kind of idea of one of the many things that you gave to me to release?
I'd rather you don't give the statement away because that is what I sell in my program.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Well,
so when people come to my program, whether they're doing the one-on-one coaching or they're taking the group, they
mhm,
learn that stress release statement to use
mhm.
for themselves. So I'd rather you don't just
Okay, that's
give it.
totally fine. I'll just give the issue, for example. So
Yes.
one of the things for me at that time, I think it was back in April 2017, and I was finding that I was comparing myself to like everyone, and as a coach at the time, I was like, I'm not doing enough, and I don't think I'm making a difference to anyone, and I need to be better, and all these thoughts were coming into my mind, and they were basically paralyzing me from even being able to help anyone. And so we worked on that and the energy, releasing that energy and releasing that thought and that belief about myself. And it was just about, I released the issue of feeling inadequate and just the things that you gave me to work around that. And
Yeah.
it sounds so simple, but it really, there's such a process to it. And the words that you gave me to use were very, very powerful. And it was almost like magic. It's just, I said them. There was a whole big statement that Anita
Yeah.
gave me to say. And I said them and then just sat with it. And sometimes I would end up laughing my head off. And so we would both be laughing so much together. Sometimes I would end up sobbing. Sometimes I would just feel completely at peace. But it just kind of settled. Something just settled deep within me. And doing these exercises over and over again and knowing how the technique of how to do that for myself over and over again was just such an amazing roadmap to clearing any unwanted energies.
Yeah.
So again, I really thank you for that, and I
You're
just absolutely
welcome.
love the whole process of which we worked on.
Yes. Yes. So many times what we have, whether it's negative feelings, limiting beliefs, negative expectations, resolutions we created, those are all things that got imprinted when something bad happened in our life. And we don't even realize that we have them still running in the background all the time. So the method that, I taught you would help you find those old incidents and release them from your brain, from the implicit memory, and so that they don't keep getting triggered. And bringing that to consciousness allows you to also release any negative or limiting beliefs
Hmm.
that you had. And so I do love to get down to the core and find what is the core foundational piece that needs to be released. And then that's why we call it the foundation of power, because we're continually helping you pull out the parts of the foundation that are maybe not what you want anymore.
And you know what? It's
What?
so it's so hard to find these things yourself.
It is. It is.
Sorry, I interrupted you. You were going to
That's
say you
okay.
to
It
find the
is. It's so
foundation of,
hard.
yeah, you were going to say to find the foundation of the parts that don't serve you anymore. And
Yes, and to release them, because
right.
really ultimately within yourself you have, you're perfect, right? Your true self really is pretty perfect. And
Mhm.
these issues are just kind of glommed on you. And we just need to kind of find them and unwind them and bring them to consciousness and just kind of say, okay, that's no longer useful. And oh, now I can step into what I'm really here to do, what
Mm.
I'm really all about. Now I can see myself in the proper perspective. And it is um, it is possible to find those things for yourself. Every time you get triggered, you can notice what is it that is coming up for you. And
Mhm.
when do I remember something like that happening? What does that remind me of in the past? And you can release it. Uh,
Mm.
so you can find it, but I like to find the kind of the thread that
Mhm.
is the foundational piece that really shifts you and helps you
Wow.
take a quantum leap.
And you do this regularly in your own life, like you, it's a practice for you,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's
Oh,
amazing.
yes. I
I think,
had to. I had to.
right.
I had so much trauma
Mhm.
and I was so debilitated. And I could still, to this day, well, I guess not so much in the last year or so, but I could get triggered. And when you're trying to do things like you are now, you are
Mhm.
really stepping into your kind of divine purpose.
Mhm.
And when you're doing that, it's normal to have your triggers and your fears come up. So
Mhm.
I have been on a road of trying to step into my greatest potential and do the work that I believe I was made to do. And I had to go through a lot of barriers. So a lot of old obstacles, a lot of limitations that I had on myself that I just had to work through. And I do it constantly all the time for
Mm.
myself and for others.
I love that. I love that once you're given the strategy, you can do it for your clients can do it for themselves. And
Yes.
and I love the fact that we can rewire our brain. We can actually create new neurological pathways and actually think differently about ourselves and about the world. And I was listening to someone talk about that, I think on YouTube or something the other day, and this woman was like, you can't rewire someone's brain. And the guy was like, yes, you
Yes,
can.
you can.
And you absolutely do that for people, or you help them to go, like people that really want healing and
Yes.
really get to the root of their trauma or the things that are showing up in their adult life that are stopping them from moving forward, that we don't even realize where it comes from. It's
Yes.
just bringing that awareness is such an amazing gift.
And you
So
know what is also a gift? The people that emerge when that
mm,
happens. Like I think I just love people. I love anyone that I'm gifted with having the opportunity to work with,
mm,
because I get to discover their beauty, their brilliance, their gift to the world, and I get to help them believe in themselves and believe in the possibility that they can step into that role that they were made for, that they can, no matter what happened in their past and no matter what is going on in the world, you can step into that path that was made for you and only
oh,
you. So our whole program has, it has, I used to just do one-on-one coaching. And then about 2 years ago, I started doing a group program.
mhm,
And so we can teach these empowerment um, concepts to people. And
mhm,
also teach them how to do stress release. So we've wanted to reach more people and make it
Yeah.
really affordable for anybody.
Isn't it
So
amazing now that that's where the world is going? The fact that we all, a lot of us started out coaching. I qualified in 2010, and yes, I often heard about coaches who would have burnout because they're just doing one-to-one, and there's only so many people you can help physically, and it's not a viable business to just be able to see one person at a time. I love the fact that just even during Corona, everyone's on Zoom and networking and meeting people, and you're able to put your courses out there to groups and to online for people to learn. It's just the most incredible thing. That's the plus side of, I guess, of the internet. I can think of so many reasons why. Oh, technology, I can't stand it. But it really is quite incredible how much we've grown, as a like mass consciousness, as a species, like human beings, and just how we're able to connect and make the world feel smaller is just a real gift.
yeah, well, I'm so excited to watch you bring your work out in the world, because I know what you're capable of inspiring in others.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I know
Thank you.
you're all about inspiration
Yeah.
and magic, and I think you're going to touch a lot of people.
Oh, thank you so
Look
much,
forward to
Anita.
watching it.
Oh, I love it. Don't you just love this woman? Don't you just love this woman? I feel like I'm so glad I met you. And so I thank Maggie Steele, who also was in the first conscious conversation with me, who introduced us. And
I love her too.
me too. And I just feel like, honestly, Anita, you've no idea how much you changed my life. I feel like I want to pull a goddess card. Should we pull a
Okay.
goddess card and see what comes up
Okay.
for us?
All right.
I just like doing this every so often. Sometimes it's an angel card, sometimes it's a goddess card. But
Do you
let's
mix
see.
them together?
No, do you? Do you mix them together?
I mixed my angel and goddess cards together.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Okay, let's see. I never even thought of doing that. Okay, one of them fell out. Oh, Mary Magdalene.
Oh, love her.
Mary Mag, she looks like you.
Aw,
Mary
thank you.
Magdalene, unconditional love. What were you
No,
going to say?
in the picture, when you watch this video, you're going to see that she looks like you.
No, I'm looking at her and I think she looks like you. Or
Okay.
maybe we're all mirrors of each other. Unconditional love.
Oh,
So love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be.
yes,
That is your work. That is
it
what you're
is.
all about.
It is. It is. That's what I do in every part of my life.
Oh,
And
I love
yes,
this is
so beautiful.
yeah, this is she
You
says,
too, by the way.
I do my best, I
You
do my
too.
best. The human part of me, the ego part of me sometimes gets in the way, like more so at home, like in my relationship. But you're right, most of the time I really do look for the good and I look for the silver lining in everything. And
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't describe myself as Mary Magdalene, but but I love the fact that it's love yourself, others in every situation. Like even
Yes.
the coronavirus, even like the fires, the forest fires
Yes.
in California, it's like so out of our control. But no matter what the outward appearances may be, pour love into it. And that's a powerful thing that if we all do that, we can heal the world that way.
It's true. It is true that that's my work, because when people get triggered, they see enemy images in the person that triggers them or the situation that triggers them.
Hmm.
And I spend every day of my life helping people resolve those triggers, because once they go from the stress state where everything looks horrible, then they release and they go back into their, you know, normal higher self state or their high functioning state. They all of a sudden, the negativity goes away, the perception opens, they see things from a bigger perspective, and that's when they can apply love in that situation. And if they don't feel like they can apply love yet, then they need to do more stress release on that topic, and there might
Right.
be more. But it's amazing. I think you experienced that the moment that you finished the stress release statement, you really got to the core. Doesn't
Hmm.
your perspective change?
Yes, It totally, not only did my perspective change, but my
Mm.
feeling in my body and my feeling about the situation, because I feel a lot. I feel things
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
And my feelings changed. It was like things didn't bother me at all that were bothering me for years. Like,
I
poof,
know.
it's gone. It was
I know.
amazing.
Oof. It's amazing, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. I just love how, the right people cross your path that are meant to cross your path, like people that just come out of the blue, out of nowhere, and you find yourself having conversations, or you probably find yourself having clients that really need your work, that you've just come across each other, or word of mouth or something like that. So
Yes.
how would a person, oh, before we get to that, there was something else that you said to me earlier about something about when you were looking for a job at one point and
Oh,
you were
yeah.
trying everything. Can you share that story? Because I love that
Yes.
story.
So, probably maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I was I had taken a big risk to do this business. I left corporate about 8 years ago, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to make my business work. And I was living off of my, I wanted to bring out this program, but it was taking time to develop. And I had my coaching, but it wasn't enough yet. It wasn't enough to give me everything I need. So I thought, well, maybe I'm taking too long and I need to go get a job. So I went job searching. I found 5 jobs. I was like determined, right? I better
Right.
get a job to, you know, so that I don't run out of money, right? And so I started looking for jobs. I found 5 jobs, and this was the craziest thing. All 5 people wanted me, and not a single job worked out. I had owners of companies that wanted me to be hired, but the person who wanted to hire me wouldn't. The person in charge didn't. I
Right.
had I had 2 owners that wanted to hire me, and I had 3 other jobs. I had one job that was just outrageous. It would have been too low of money and too much work, and I never would have gotten my work done. I never would have been able to do my practice, and it would have delayed me for years. So
Wow.
um, at one point, I just realized, no, I think, none of them turned out. And when the last one didn't turn out, and I just said, okay, I guess this is it. And so I went back to just settling in. And I had a few jobs come in that were unusual, that
Oh,
were totally inspired, totally magical,
oh,
that took care of me
wow.
until my practice was going well enough that I didn't need the extra jobs. So
Amazing.
it's just, I don't know, was that what you were talking about?
Yes, it was, because I just remember at the time you were like, because I think I might have been in a similar situation at the time. We're talking and just thinking about looking for work, and I desperately wanted to get out of the place I was in. And you were saying, it's amazing. Like the universe just doesn't want me to work right now. And I have surrendered to it because I found 5 different jobs and they were very viable. Like I could have done any of them. And one by one they didn't work out, and so now I'm accepting that, and I'm listening to the universe and what the messages are. I'm listening to myself and what do I really feel that I want. And actually that's happened with me, because during coronavirus there was like one job I was looking for ages, and just this one job appeared, and I thought, oh, this could be really, really good for me. It was head of like new business development for a company, a startup, and I really loved the company's core values. That was something else that was very important to me. Like it had to be in alignment with the people I was going to be working for. I had to feel like we were in alignment with the way we look at life, our philosophy, and what we believe, and how they treat their staff, and all that kind of thing. And so I ended up having a conversation. And actually, the day before, I'd been doing quite a lot of card readings. I think I'd done about 60 card readings at this point, and I was doing a lot more with my coaching, and also working on Maddie Sparkles on my kids project. And I thought to myself, I don't even know if I really want this job. And as soon as I had that thought, I thought, oh no, my heart of hearts doesn't really want it. So I don't know if I'm going to get it now, because there's something that deep down, I don't think it's right for me to even be working full time right now for someone else. There's
Yeah.
too much going on in my life. There's too many parts of the jigsaw that are falling into place that want to happen to come through me. And so I had this conversation with her. I initially, before the conversation, I sent off everything online. I filled out the application. I wrote amazing responses. I was really happy with them. And we had the conversation, and then later on, a few days later, she decided to go with someone else. And
Mhm.
I actually felt, thank you so much. It was such a
Ah,
gift that I didn't get it, because if I had been offered it, I might have taken it.
mhm.
And the amount of things that have happened since I didn't get that job, or wasn't offered that job, has been so life-changing and incredibly fulfilling. So I just felt like, oh, it's just amazing how things work out,
I
you know?
know. And having that trust and that faith and really listening to your insides, because
Mm,
so many of us compromise along the way. We settle because we don't believe that the greatest solution will come. And
yes.
we think we better do something because, again, we're scared
Mm,
about money, or we're afraid, we think we need something, or we're afraid. And all fears
hmm.
are some form of stress response.
Right,
And
right.
so once you release the stress response, you can kind of see like what's in your heart of hearts. Now, in your case, you didn't have a stress response and you didn't have any fear, but you still like could listen to your insides.
Yeah, I felt
And
it really strongly. Anyway,
yeah.
we're running out of time. So
Okay.
how can people get in touch with you? What do you want to say about the Foundation of Power right now?
Okay. Well, thank you for having me on the call. And
Oh,
I would love to work with anybody or talk to anybody who's interested in finding out more. You can find me on thefoundationofpower.com, and you can reach me at Anita at thefoundationofpower.com. And also, we have programs that range from $20 a month up to, you know, 500 a month. And it just is whatever you need.
mhm.
And we have group programs, we have individual coaching programs. And for those who are interested in any potential coaching, which I think is a fantastic thing, I give free consults. So just reach out to me. I will talk to you for 45 minutes or an hour just to see if it's a match.
Mhm.
And I love talking to people and meeting people. And if you have something in your heart, some part of you that hasn't been fulfilled, that hasn't been heard or seen, or you want some part of you to come out in the world,
Mm.
I hope that you'll call me because I'd love to help you do that.
And Anita can definitely help you do that. She totally helped me do that. And I can't say enough amazing things about you. So thank you so much for coming
Oh,
on this
thank you
conscious
so much.
conversation.
Oh, thank you so much, Maddie. I'm just
Oh,
thrilled. Thank you very much.
see you
I love
soon.
being around you, and I can't wait to see all of your things emerge in the world.
Thank you. Me too.
All
See you
right,
soon,
take
love.
care. All right,
Bye.
bye-bye.